Meta looks unstoppable. It has AI narrative, institutional flow, and strong structure. But the strongest moves often create the most dangerous late entries. Are traders buying momentum or becoming exit liquidity? So let's read this chart together. As you can see, we have this big move to the upside that's cascaded and continued to push higher and higher. So from this viewpoint, traditionally what we should see is a rather stiff pullback into those base levels of support. Okay, so each grind up is going to be a nice structured level of support. So mainly those two levels, which are somewhere right around 645 and 3/4, as well as 648 and a half, let's just say. Now, once we do get underneath those structures, we should look for a nice entry pattern in which we can now look to rotate the market back to the upside. So quite honestly and ideally, we actually gap down from wherever we are in today's session, which was at like 654, and we come all the way down to that 645 sweet spot. And then we'll have a nice buying opportunity to push this thing all the way back up to the prior high. Okay, that's the most preferred outcome. And just be aware also, if we do just continue to push up higher, pretty much the whole idea stays the same. If we cascade and go higher and higher, we're still looking for that deep pullback and then return back to the upside. Okay, the only difference is once we push up that high, you have to be aware of the fact that we're more than likely not going to go all the way to the base of the structure, but more likely to get some of those more shallow pullbacks as we push up. Okay, that's pretty much the only thing that will really change. Now, besides that variation, I think the last one that we need to talk about for at least the next few days is the fact that if we turn into a range. Okay, so we could push up, and push up, and then start to kind of just like base out here. Okay, now if we base out in this direction, it's important to understand that we are bullish into a trading range, and what typically happens is that we'll get some sort of false breakout to the downside that we can look to buy, ultimately looking for the return to the upside. Now, it's very similar to that of the previous variation, so don't have to worry about too much and looking for something, substantially different. Now, the one that you need to be aware of is the fact that if we do push up and create a range, and it actually breaks up to the upside first. So it may find some variation where you're like this, and we go directly higher, okay? At this point, we're actually looking to sell using a GNR pattern at the top, because the range is more often than not going to have to rotate back through the low, okay? Now, it will look bearish with the current status, but just be aware of the overall move prevailing. It is bullish. So once we get that rotation to the downside, we can simply now look for that buying opportunity with the twin variation and the ultimate return back through that range rotation through the high. So that last one is obviously a bit more unique, so don't worry about it if you don't know it. But if you do want to learn it, then you should look down in the description for the Discord/Patreon link so you can figure out all the ins and outs to my strategy. Thanks for watching. See you in the next candle.